In this lesson, we'll cover exporting images. So looking at the model we have on our screen, let's say we want to render this. Right now it's displaying an HVAC system with some walls, with some ceiling elements, and a few other architectural details. If we wanted to create an image, we would render this view. Once the view is rendered, we can export that rendering to a JPEG image, for example, to a directory that we choose. And then we could use that JPEG image in another publication or print it. Let's look at the rendering capability first and the steps to actually produce this rendering so we can export it as a JPEG image. So let's go to the actual View tab on your ribbon. Once on the View tab, in the Graphics area, you'll see an icon for Render. Go ahead and select Render. Now, on the rendering window, you have a variety of settings. The quality setting, basically meaning how much quality do you want in the rendering. Do you want it more of draft mode, which I would say is more cartoonish, or high quality, or a custom specific setting of how you want the image in the background, lights, etc. to be displayed. Currently, it's set to best. You also have screen resolution or printer resolution, depending upon what the output is of this file. For example, if you're going to print it to use it in a marketing publication, or if you're going to use it as an image on a web page, screen resolution. You also have lighting schemes, where you can use exterior lighting or interior lighting, meaning sun only, or if you wanted to include artificial lighting, for example, your lighting fixtures within your space or exterior lighting outside of your space. Right now, we're just doing exterior sun only because we just want to highlight or illuminate what we see here in this model. If you do choose exterior sun, you can set the sun location or sun setting, picking one of the actual presets or defining something on your own. If you get into a solar study, this is where you could set multiple day or single day lighting techniques or settings for that solar study. You can also set artificial light variables if you're choosing to illuminate with artificial light. Background, you can choose a background image, a background color, or say add a few clouds or no clouds. You can even add haze. And if you wanted to adjust the exposure, you could adjust the exposure as well. What you would do here is you would actually click render in the upper left and this would render. But for the purpose of this example, we've already created a rendering in this lesson. So to see the rendering that goes along with this view, all I have to do is click show the rendering on the very bottom. This will show the rendering that was already produced using these settings. Now above the display and show the model, we have two additional buttons. One is save to project. If you click save the project, that saves this rendering inside of this Revit project. And then you can name it what you want. The export button allows you to take this image and save it outside of this Revit project to a JPEG file, for example. So if you were to click export, a window would open up asking you to give this file a name and choose the format, bitmap, JPEG, TIFF, or PNG, depending on what you want and what you're going to use it for, and then choose the directory to save this in. As you can see for this lesson, I've already created one and saved this out, exporting it to a JPEG image. You could do the same if you want by selecting any of these settings and then clicking save. I'm just going to click cancel. To illustrate the save the project, if you were to click save to project, another window comes up asking you, what do you want to name this rendered view? In this case, you would name it, if you want, the name of the parent view, and you may include the name rendering. This is already done in this example project as well, so you don't have to do it. Just click cancel. If you want to show the model again, just choose show the model on the very bottom and you go back to showing the model. To close the rendering screen, just click the X on the upper right of the render window. Now, to see this image that was saved within the project, if you scroll down in your project browser, you'll have a group called renderings. Under that group will be a subgroup, and then you'll actually see the view of this rendering since it was saved to the project. Likewise, we exported this rendering out to a JPEG image within the directory of this lesson, Chapter 20. So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at exporting images. We first looked at creating a rendering of an image. We looked at the rendering settings, the light control, whether that be sunlight or artificial light. We also looked at the background capabilities, clouds, no clouds, color, or an image. And then we also looked at the resolution, depending upon where we're actually using this image, meaning is it being printed or is it going to be used on the web? And finally, we looked at two additional things. One, save the image to our current Revit project, creating a new view, placing it under the renderings group. And the other option we looked at was exporting the image to an external file, such as a JPEG, BMP, or PNG file.